Hi everybody, a warm welcome to the online spoken faculty development program on Advanced Communication Laboratory. Now we will see the experiment number 10, session 3, characteristics of circulator. Aim. The aim of this experiment is to study the characteristics of the circulator, to determine the insertion loss and to determine the isolation loss. Circulator. Circulator is defined as a multi-port junction in which the wave can travel from one port to the next immediate port in one direction only. So in the diagram below we can see a 3-port circulator and a 4-port circulator. So when I am giving the input at the port 1, the output will be obtained at the port 2. If I am giving the input to the port 2, the output will be obtained at the port 3, and if I am giving the input at the port 3, the output will be obtained at the port 1 for a 3-port circulator. So depending upon the direction of travel of the wave inside the circulator can be divided into clockwise circulator and a counterclockwise circulator. In the clockwise circulator, the wave will be traveling in the clockwise direction inside the circulator, and in the counterclockwise circulator, the wave will be traveling in the counterclockwise as shown in the diagram. Now the construction of the circulator. A 4-port circulator can be constructed from 2 magic tees and non-reciprocal 180-degree phase shifter. This is the second method, and as per the this is the first method, and as per the second method, a combination of 2 3 dB side hole directional coupler with 2 non-reciprocal phase shifters. So this is by the first method. So if I am giving the input at the port 1, it will be split into 2 in phase and equal amplitude wave in the collinear arms B and D of the magic T1, and it will be added up to merge from port 2 in magic T2. If the signal is given at port 2, it will split into 2 equal amplitude and equal phase in collinear arm of magic T2, and it will appear at point B and D out of phase due to the presence of the non-reciprocal 180-degree phase shifter. These waves get added up and appear at port 3 in magic T1. Similarly, if we are giving the input at port 3, the output will be obtained at the port 4. So similarly, if I am giving the input at the port 4, the output will be obtained at the port 1. Now this is the construction of a 4-port circulator by using the second method. So here we are having a primary guide is there, a secondary guide is there, 4 ports are present, 2 couplers are present and 2 phase shifters are present here. So each of the 2 3 dB couplers in the circulator introduces a phase shift of 90 degree, and each of the 2 phase shifters produce a certain phase change. The wave is split into 2 components by the coupler 1. The wave in primary guide arrives at port 2 with a relative phase change of 180 degree. The second wave propagates through the 2 couplers, and secondary guide arrives at port 2 with relative phase shift of 180 degree. Since the 2 waves reaching the port 2 are in phase, the power transmitted is obtained from port 1 to port 2. The waves propagating through primary guide, phase shifter and coupler 2 arrives at port 4 with a 270 degree phase change. The wave travelling through coupler 1 and secondary guide arrives at port 4 with a phase shift of 90 degree. Since the 2 waves reaching the port 4 are opposite in phase, the power transmission from 1 to port 4 is 0. So this is a 3-port circulator. A 3-port circulator is formed by a 120 degree H-plane waveguide or strip line symmetrical Y junction with a central ferrite post or disc. a steady magnetic field H0 is applied along the axis of the disk. Depending on the polarization of the incident wave and the direction of H0, the microwave signal travels from one port to the immediate next one. So this is a S parameter of the 3-port circulator and the 4-port circulator. And this is a case of a ideal circulator. In the 3-port circulator, only the S13, S21 and S32 will be equal to 1. All other S parameters will be equal to 0. Similarly, for a 4-port circulator, S14, S21, S32 and S43 will be equal to 1. All other S parameters will be equal to 0. Now we will see the experimental setup to measure the input. The experimental setup goes like this. Klystron power supply. In order to give the power supply to the klystron oscillator, then we have the klystron oscillator which generates the microwave signal. Then it is given to the isolator which provides minimum attenuation to the wave traveling from the generator side to the load side, and it will provide maximum attenuation to the reflected wave which will be traveling from the load to the generator. Then we are having the frequency meter which measures the microwave frequency which will be in the range of gigahertz. Then we are having the variable attenuator. Then we are having the diode detector. Then we are having the CRO. Then this is the experimental setup to measure the output. All other device will remain the same except a circulator is inserted between the variable attenuator and the diode detector. Then this is a microwave workbench. This microwave workbench is set up as per the block diagram explained earlier. So this is a klystron power supply to provide the power supply to the klystron oscillator. So this is a klystron oscillator. So we will see the operation of the klystron oscillator in short. The electron beam emitted from the cathode is accelerated by the grid G and passes through the cavity anode to the repeller space between the cavity anode and the repeller electrode. The feedback required to maintain the oscillations within the cavity is obtained by reversing the electron beam emitted from the cathode towards the repeller electrode and sending it back through the cavity. The electrons in the beam are velocity modulated before the beam passes through the cavity second time and will give up the energy to the cavity to maintain the oscillations. Now we will see the performance of the reflex klystron. It will be having a frequency range of 2 to 200 GHz. Bandwidth will be plus or minus 30 MHz. Then power output is 10 milliwatt to 2.5 watt. Reflex klystrons are widely used as microwave sources in the laboratory and in microwave transmitters and as local oscillator in super heterodyne radar receivers. So this is an isolator. This isolator is formed by terminating the third port of the circulator. So frequency meter. So it is used to measure the gigahertz frequency directly. Then this is a variable attenuator. So this is a circulator. You can see the 3 ports of the circulator whose characteristics we are going to study in this experiment. Then this is a diode detector. The output of the diode detector is given to the CRO for the measurement. Then procedure to determine the insertion loss. Prepare the microwave workbench, that is without the circulator as per the block diagram. Then note down the input. Then Put the circulator in between the variable attenuator and the diode detector. The port 1 has to be connected to the input side, that is to the near the variable attenuator, and the port 2 has to be connected to the diode detector, and the port 3 will be terminated. And note down the output. Then procedure to determine the isolation loss. So prepare the microwave workbench, that is without the circulator as per the block diagram. Then note down the input. Then put the circulator in between the variable attenuator and the diode detector. This time it should be in such a way that port 2 is connected to the input side, that is to the variable attenuator, and port 1 has to be connected to the output, that is the diode detector. And as usual, your port 3 has to be terminated. Note down the output. This is a tabulation for this experimental setup to measure the insertion and isolation loss. So we have to connect the port 1 as the input and port 2 as the output and measure the or observe the S parameter S21. Then connect the port 2 to the input side and port 1 to the output side and find out the S12. Similarly, find out S32, S23, S13 and S31. Calculation of insertion loss. Insertion loss is equal to minus 20 log S21. So that is equal to minus 20 log B2 divided by A1. B2 and A1 we have found out by using the experimental setup. Then calculation of isolation loss. Isolation loss is equal to minus 20 log S12. So that is equal to minus 20 log B1 divided by A2. B1 and A2 we got it from the experiment. So similarly we can find out the insertion and isolation loss between port 2 and port 3, and also we can find out the insertion and the isolation loss between port 3 and port 1. So by substituting the values of the S21, S12, S32, S23, S13 and S31 in the S parameter matrix of a 3-port circulator, we can find out the S matrix of the 3-port circulator. Your S11, S22 and S33 will be equal to 0. Now we will see the application. The first application of the circulator is it acts as an isolator when one port of a 3-port circulator is terminated. The next application is it acts as a duplexer, that is in a radar. The circulator are used as a type of duplexer to route the signals from the transmitter side to the antenna and from the antenna to the receiver side without allowing the signal to pass directly from transmitter to the receiver. Reflection amplifier. By using a 3-port circulator with the signal input connected to the one port, the biased diode connected to the second and the output load connected to the third, the output and the input can be uncoupled. Advantages. The circulator is used as a lossless and a non-reciprocal device. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Hope this video was an useful and an informative one. Thank you.